and record. Hello, everyone, to those of you attending and to those of you watching later. Thank you for coming and for your interest with us today. At least so far, I'm hoping that Aliou will arrive maybe a little bit late. We have Christen Black, a alumni of the MA program in economics here at Old Dominion University, a bachelor's degree in economics from Hampton University, correct, Christen? Yeah, I see a nod here.
Yep, correct.
Yeah, and
That is
he's
correct.
currently a PhD student at Howard University in Washington, D.C. Um, Also with us in Golbarg, I apologize. I may not do the best with your last name, but
Just say Roghani.
okay, okay. Golbarg Roghani is with us. Another alumni of the MA
Mhm.
program here at Old Dominion University. She is currently a PhD student at CUNY Baruch in New
Mhm.
York City, and her undergraduate degree was in economics from the University of Isfahan.
Yes.
Yeah, and so welcome to you both. I think I am certainly excited to see some friendly faces. Kristen and Gilbart both came through during my time here at ODU.
And I'm
Uh,
really happy to like meeting you too.
It's good to see my friends again. Yeah. So,
yeah,
yeah, I'm
and
glad to be
Gilbart
here.
was actually my graduate assistant for at least one
Yeah.
semester, if not a year. Um,
Wasn't a very good one though.
oh, you did a lot of work for me, Gilbart. I was always pleased. Um, and so I have a list of questions. I was just going to go through. I know that you have seen them, but feel free to add. This is really more just a kind of a chat than it is anything that's too big. But I actually know the answers of some of these questions, even when I'm asking them. And so, Goldbard, your microphone is off, so I'll ask you first. And so, what made you
It's off.
decide? No, you were
Okay.
okay. You were
Oh,
on. So, what made you decide to pursue a PhD after the MA? Was this something that you were aware of before, or like during your study?
okay. I don't think I would have the best answer to this because like I was planning to do a PhD since I think I was a teenager. Like I always knew that like I have to like pursue like studying to the highest level possible. Um, and one reason for that was that like probably feminism. I just wanted to have the power to like have like the highest possible knowledge. I was a bit greedy like about everything, but at the same time I was like interested to see like um what it is like to like learn the highest possible um level of knowledge. So for me was that mostly was that I was greedy and I wanted to be a professor. And I knew that I liked teaching.
Mhm.
And I still like didn't know what research would look like. Right now, that I'm doing a PhD, I'm a little bit changed. I feel like probably I don't want to be a professor. I just going to like go to industry probably.
Oh, cool. So I will come back around to that here in a little.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. So I just wanted to say like not everything stays the same through the PhD
of course,
journey.
yes. Yeah, I can remember, 4 or 5 years, you can things can change.
Hmm.
And so how about you, Kristen? How did you decide to start on sort of the PhD path? How did you decide to start on your doctorate?
Yeah, that's a really great question. As Golbarg alluded to, it's very dynamic throughout the process, and so the reasons why I started are different from the reasons why I'm still in it. Um, Primarily because of the sunk cost fallacy. But but no, I had started because because what sweeter gig than only having to be on campus twice a week, right? And, being able to do research at home. And then being tenured so you don't have to worry about, like, oh, am I gonna have my job? Job security is great. So I was like, that's a sweet gig. I could do that. And then not to mention summers off, right? I say off, but if you guys talk to
Mm-hmm.
McNabb, you guys know that he never has summers off, right? Um, but you have that option. So I'll say, yeah, that was a big reason why I started. I started for, really personal reasons. And as, as things happened throughout my time in Howard, things changed. And so it takes some adapting, right? But I think that as long as you're able to adapt and, realize that, you know, things will change and that you have a proper support system while in your program, that's the biggest thing. Um, I think these reasons, your reasoning behind starting or whatever have you, may not necessarily be the thing that keeps you going, right? But as long as you start and finish, I think that's what's important.
Cool, cool. And it's weird. You're kind of your own boss as a professor, and that process starts during the doctorate. It is very tough to sort of get yourself turned around in that mindset. That was a big part of graduate school for me.
Great. Well, I mean, I still have a lot of TA work to do, so not
It's true.
quite yet.
We call that service when you're working as an academic. Um,
But yeah.
and so I'll follow up with you, Kristen, and then come back with you, Golbarg. But
Mm-hmm.
so like if you were thinking about the MA program during your time with us here in Norfolk, what best prepared you for the transition? And so going into your program.
You're asking me
Um,
or Christian?
Kristen first.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. That's great that you asked that question. I was just talking to it with about my professor the other day. So I'll be honest. We have comprehensive exams as part of a PhD program. You have to take those. And I'll start off with the bad news is I failed both of my comprehensive exams the first go around, right? So I was down in the gutter, right? It was micro and macro theory, right? As you know, ODU is a very applied program, right? And so, not saying that we don't take theory courses at ODU, but if I didn't take it in undergrad and not really heavily emphasized at ODU, right? I was only left with the resources at Howard, right? And so there are a lot of people who had a lot more exposure to it than I did. Aliou is a perfect example of that, of coming from a very theory heavy program and doing insanely well in the theory class, both of the theory classes at ODU. That was not me. But having graduated from ODU, right, we have a third comp, and it's a quantitative comp. Really, it's econometrics. And when I tell you that was the easiest test I have ever taken, right? It was literally the easiest test I'd ever taken. Because of the skills. I was like, oh, I learned all of this back in my master's program. This is
Mm-hmm.
this is a cakewalk, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have to answer 5 questions. Sorry, we have 8 questions to choose from. We have to answer five, and out of the five, we have to get three correct. Um, I was about to walk out of my exam having only answered 3 questions because I was so confident in the things that I had learned and having, like, I know what the M matrix consists of, right? And these things that I learned at ODU, right, perfectly prepared me not only for the comp, but for the coding skills that will allow me to do well in my research, right? So, I would say ODU being very applied helps having gone to now at a very applied program for my PhD.
Cool, thank you. And so Goldberg, this might be a little different for you because you changed disciplines as well, right? So you moved from economics into operations and decision.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no
I'm
problem.
in a meeting.
Yeah, because you moved into operation and decision
Yeah.
analytics. And so Like, what part of the MA program best prepared you for that transition?
So in our program, we also take micro one and micro two. It's more and also like econometrics one and two. Um, so when I started like those courses, I was very confident. But it turns out they are very theoretical. But because like I had a big picture of like all the course, like doing a master, like I knew that like okay, if like they're teaching like OLS or like anything, I knew that okay, if you have a data set and like blah 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 and like what happens exactly like when you're just doing all of that theory. So the point is this masters gave me a big picture of everything. And so another good thing about the MA program at ODU was that um, um, I was okay doing empirical work because like I am the only student who can work with data, and it helped me. So the rest would be like people like doing just theoretical work, math proofs, and this program kind of helped me to like go forward toward like um, my interest, which is machine learning. So my research is kind of very different from whatever everybody's doing right now. And luckily, the second semester I was here, a new professor just started working here, who's like, um, he does like machine learning and statistics, and I'm just working with him, and like ODU like kind of pushed me toward like this um, path, and I like this path. This is my favorite. This is what I wanted to do. And yeah, I think how it like doing a lot of like application coding and whatever like um, that really helped me. Also, something about Dragon Center. So when I was like working at Dragon Center, so basically I started coding seriously at Dragon Center. So before that, I used to code, but like just like simple codes, right? But when I was at Dragon Center and ChatGPT didn't like exist at that time, I had to like really learn like how to exactly code. That also really helped me. Like something else from Dragon Center, how to communicate.
Ah,
Um, so so I'm an international student. When I came to the ODU, like I was very shy. I was like, culture shocked, homesick. I got depressed for a while. And then people like at ODU, like you, Dr. McNabb, you were very supportive. Dr. Blake, you were very supportive and helped me like through this and helped me to like build somehow some confidence. And that's that this MA program kind of built my personality to be able to like do a PhD at all
hmm.
in the like emotional, like not only like technical way, but also like in an emotional way. This program was very helpful for me.
Wow, that is nice. Thank you, Mark. Um, so thinking about starting your PhD program and how it has gone, was
Mhm.
there anything about doctoral study that surprised you?
Um, so I did a master's and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be the best. I know everything. I did research. I know how to study very well. But then PhD just slapped me in the face. So like, no, you're nothing. Just sit on your chair and like do whatever we tell you to do.
Studying Mark.
It was so heavy. Like in the first year, I was like, what am I doing? I had no time to do anything but studying. Like, yes, it was. And our program is pretty much in the first 2 years. It was pretty much course heavy and math heavy. And I didn't have that much background of math. Uh, that kind of surprised me. I had to work a lot. And in the second year, we had to start teaching a course. And that was also took me a lot of time because like I had to get ready and I never taught in English. Like I used to ask ChatGPT, okay, I give my ChatGPT my slides and it was like, okay, let's say you're the professor, how are you going to teach this? And then I used to like read from like whatever how ChatGPT is teaching this and learn the like specific words that I didn't know. Even like in language, it was difficult. But right now in my third year, it's going a little bit better, except for the fact that my research is killing me.
This happens. I mean, nobody, everyone's so excited when they finish comps and then they move on, and it still continues. It's just perhaps different new problems.
I
Um,
still have, I took the first comps, which was like a written exam. Like, like I had to take like two different exams, like written and then an oral exam. I passed that, and now one another um, uh, test is remains. So it's like I have to write my paper and like present it to the the committee, and it's gonna happen like this winter, I guess.
uh,
So pray for me.
good luck. Of course. Yes. And with you, Kristen, was there something that surprised you when it was like the transition from master's to PhD?
Um, yeah, I remember talking to your good friend Cardazzi, and he was talking about, yeah, no, I used to play basketball like sometimes during like, my time in at West Virginia. I was like, what? You have time for that? Right? Then that just blew my mind, right? And I'm not, I guess I could say this now since I've graduated. I would never tell Walker while I was at ODU, but I had a lot of free time at
Yeah.
for my master's program, right? A lot, right? And it's just really time management and being efficient that allows you to do that. And so I go into the PhD program thinking that, okay, now I actually really had to be serious. Not saying that ODU wasn't serious. It very much is, and it's just a lot of work. But I was like, all right, my free time is going to go out the window. But I was very surprised how much free time I still had. Um, I, had time to do a lot of the things that like, I enjoyed still. The kind of horror stories that you hear about people not having a social life, some of that can be true, but for me, that was only during certain bouts, right? So, that's something that might excite you guys, right? I know that some of you guys might be interested in going to a program, right? You do have free time, but sometimes there will be weeks where you have to work 60 hours to get something you need to get done. Studying for comps is a perfect example of that, right? If you had asked me, do you have a lot of free time or, how do you allot your time? A month or two before comps, I would say, I can't even talk to you right now. Why are you bothering me? I'm trying to study, right? But now I am, like I said, I have time to do like I volunteer at my fire department and I, skateboard, right? So you have a lot of free time to do what you're really passionate about while also, contributing to your field. And I love that about the, graduate programs in general.
Yeah. And so we're right on the cusp of when people will be applying. And so I can see in our participant list here, there are some people who are thinking about applying. And I assume that other people who might be watching this would be thinking about applying as well. And so, Kristen, how did you choose Howard? What was did you spend like did you apply a bunch of places? Did you how did the process go in sort of choosing?
I know how you chose Howard.
Yeah, it's a funny story. It's actually really funny because it's a pure game of chance that I happen to get here. Actually, ODU is my top pick for PhD programs in the public policy program. So all of you guys who are in Strom, so right down the hall, that's where I wanted to be. But that public policy program is super competitive. And Unfortunately, yours truly didn't get selected. But as they say, it's not about always what you know, it's sometimes who you know. And so um, those of you guys who know McNabb, I think a lot of you guys do. McNabb paired me up with this professor who's still there, actually. His name is Dr. Cook. Great guy, great guy. And he's this old guy, right? And he's doing research on HBCUs, right? And so I'm thinking McNabb might have paired me up with him because I went to a HBCU. He's doing research on HBCUs. Right. And I thought it was like, that's cool, I guess. And I talked to McNabb about it and he was like, oh, no, I guess, that's just a happy coincidence. I'm like, okay, McNabb. So I start to work with Cook and it's a really, kind of beneficial relationship for me as he not only does research on, a school and institutions that I'm interested in, right? He's also telling me stuff that I didn't even know about HBCUs in general. So fast forward to make a long story short, fast forward down the line, right? He ends up starting to write a book with a co-author, and his co-author is at Howard, right? I think one day I asked him like, "Hey, can I go to this conference with you?" And he was like, "Sure." I'm from Northern Virginia originally, so Howard is down the street from me. So I go to the conference with him, see my folks, right, and meet the department chair over at Howard. Um, and we come back from the trip. Cook and I are riding on the train back, and Cook says, I don't care if you don't want to get a PhD in economics, right? You're going to apply to this school. And I was like, but I don't want to, I don't really want to do it. Because at the time, public policy was my top pick. It's like economics, but like a little less intensive, right? And so I applied to the program and I applied a lot of places. I applied to Virginia Tech and I applied to ODU. Obviously, I wanted to stay in Norfolk because it's great down there. And so I ended up getting admission to Howard and funding into Howard. I got admission into a couple other places, but Howard was the only one that offered me funding, which really is just a polite way of other schools telling you, no, thank you. But I ended up getting in because I knew the department chair prior to my application, right? So it's admissions process for PhDs are a little different. You're not applying to the school per se, you're really applying to the program, right? So it's not the admissions officer, the same person who's just looking at the undergraduate applications. It's really a committee of people in the department that you're applying to, looking at your applications. So I say that to say, if you have a school that you're really interested in, reach out to the heads of these departments, make your name known so you stand out, even if it's just a little bit more from the rest of the applications.
Yeah. And so I do think that trying to network, I won't say it's all, like who you know,
Yeah, it's
but
not all who you know.
it doesn't hurt to
Right.
have a connection.
It
Um,
does not hurt, not in the slightest. So, yeah.
yeah, I think that's good. And so Goldbarg, you ended up in New York City, and I can remember you were excited to live in New York. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, but I do believe you applied to other places as well. So how did you decide on Baruch?
Um, so I did no network. Um, so I applied for 10 universities. Seven of them were very top ones. I don't know why I applied to those universities. I was so confident about myself. Um, but I knew that like there is a very low chance that I get admission. So I had two safe options and I had a dream university, which was here. And I was like 50-50, probably I get admission, probably not. And the reason for that was that I saw this program like accidentally. I was like just searching for its economics program, and then I saw like I went to the business programs just to see like what they have, and I saw operations and decision analytics. I was like, what is this? I don't even know like what operations is. And I just looked at the coursework and I was like, oh, look, they have machine learning, they have economics courses, stochastic modeling, like optimization. It looks like it can like kind of secure my job in the future. And I looked at the research, what research professors do. The concept was very cool, and I applied for it, and it was in New York City. And since I was like, I don't know, 16, I wanted to go to New York City because I used to watch Friends, and I also really like the culture. I felt like, okay, I like fashion, I like art, and I can be probably like, beside being a PhD student, I can be an artist and whatever, which I'm also being an artist near a PhD student. Uh, and I think that's the reason. I like the coursework. I thought the research is interesting. I like New York City. I got admission. And the fact that I got admission from two other universities, actually, one of them was Howard and the other one was George Mason, helped me to get even more funding because, like, when I was interviewing with them, they were interviewing with me. Like, they asked, do you have any admissions from other universities? And I was like, yes, I had two other admissions. I didn't tell them like where or how or whatever. And um, the next day, to like, because to keep me, they gave me like some more like extra fellowships. So I choose um, Baruch. They didn't know, even if they didn't give me this fellowship, I would choose Baruch.
You were negotiating and you realized that is great.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, so, so this is a question that I think is good for, again, I see the list of people who are here and then the people who may watch. Is there
Mhm.
something that you wish that you maybe would have done differently while you were in your MA or that you would have prepared better for before you started the doctorate?
Um, I think I did my best, like at that time. I don't say like that was the best performance, but um, what I could do, I would probably like, if somebody wants to do like a PhD, probably should care a little bit more about theoretical work. Um, I think the whole program kind of push you toward like doing application, and I didn't take understanding like the reasons behind the application that seriously. That kind of made me a problem during my PhD. I just I knew how to do things, but I didn't know what those things actually mean mathematically. So probably like caring a little bit more about like really understanding the theory behind all of those applications can help better for people who want to do a PhD.
That's a good response. This is something I struggle with even still as a professor. It's like making sure,
Mm-hmm.
like sometimes I know how to run the routines and get the data,
Mm-hmm.
but interpreting it correctly, like through
Yeah.
an economic lens,
Yeah.
um, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
So Kristen, what did you think? So like, if you were looking back, is there something you wish you would have done differently prior to starting at Howard?
Yeah, no, I I'll say absorb all you can. Sometimes you can get stuck in that. It's funny. You might hear a lot of high schoolers say this, and even college students say this. Why am I learning this? I'm never going to use this again in my life, right? And I've definitely sat in courses, even as far as, into my graduate experiences, ODU, right? Where why am I learning this? I'm never going to use this again in my life. And while that very well may be true, right? Um, it's not uncommon for a micro professor, right, to only do micro applications, right? And the last time they took a macro course was back in grad school. So that very well may be true, right? But I say absorb it all, learn all you can learn, and you'll be better for it. You'll be a more well-rounded student and economist for it. Even outside of economics, really, I would take time to just enjoy the master's experience. I would say, I say this and I genuinely mean it. ODU has some of the best the best professors I've ever had, right? And so having an opportunity to learn from them is really, really rewarding, right? And so really enjoy the program, right? And enjoy the professors, enjoy your peers, right? I'm still friends and I talk to Aliou to this day. I know he's insanely busy, but I still talk to him to this day because of friends I made in the program. So talk to your friends and enjoy Norfolk because it really, really is an amazing city. So I would have enjoyed the city a little bit more.
Uh, I mean, I did not even pay you to say these things, Christen. I'm not saying that included in any quality professor, but there are some other good ones in our.
Yes.
Yeah. Um, so so changing it up a little bit, talking about like transition and application. So I'm kind of intrigued myself. So Christen, what does like a typical week look for you like for that? Excuse me, look like for you now?
Um, Again, if you had asked me even last semester, it would have been a little different. But most days, like I said, I have a lot of free time, so much so that I probably spend 20 hours a week at the fire department, right? Volunteering, doing stuff around the department, or doing trainings, right? So a lot of it is really just I hate to say leisure time, but it's really time that I get to use for myself, right? And I love that. Um,
Self-guided. So you were choosing.
So if I'm not selling you guys, right, like, well, what does this have to do with economics? Well, it's a balance, right, between, like I said, I really truly think it's a balance between doing what you have to do and what you want to do, right? I kid you not, I kid you not. I've had my professor call me at 10 o'clock at night. I'm might be a couple whiskeys in, right? And he's calling me and I'm like, he's like, "Hey, did you submit your application? I didn't see you submit it on the website." I'm like, "Yeah, I thought I submitted it. I'll go ahead and talk to you, whatever, whatever have you, right? I'll talk to you later about it. I can't talk right now, right?" And so it's very my week to week changes a lot based on what is pressing that week, right? As of late though, it's research on the brain, right? Always. And that's how you have to like think about it. So even though I'm at the department or even while I'm skateboarding, I'm thinking of research. I'm thinking like of cool research ideas, right? And that is what occupies a good amount of my time. So as if you talk to professors around here, Cardazzi is a good one. He'll say, yeah, he'll go on walks and go out with his cats and stuff like that. But even when he's doing that, he's thinking about research or thinking about how to improve his methods, right? So yeah, on the surface, I tell my parents this all the time. Yeah, I'm playing video games, but I'm also thinking about research. I swear. So I'm thinking about research.
Christian,
So, so,
you're
yeah.
just tricking yourself.
It is a transition. I remember this in
It's
graduate
uh
school.
it's but you have to balance it because if you don't balance it, you spend too much time, too much leisure time. You really start to neglect other parts of your life. But I really don't want you guys to get in your head that a PhD is all work all the time. There definitely are hours and weeks where you have no time for anything, right? And I've had those, right? But you also have weeks like right now where I am just relieved that I've submitted, everything my professor has said I needed to submit, right? And,
And take
he's
some
not
time. Yeah.
calling me at 10 o'clock at night trying to get something done for me before a deadline, right? So
Yeah. These things still happen as an academic as well.
as Walker will tell you,
You have parts of the
deadlines,
year where it is you're working most of the hours of the day, and then others where things still have to be done, but it is
right? I'm sure you've
you when
applied
you
for
do.
grant funding and deadlines have been due like the 8 o'clock in the morning or at midnight. And that's, you just got to get it done. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And so Golbarg, what does a week look like for you in the city?
Uh, okay, so I have two different kind of weeks. My weeks in the first year and a half, and a week like after that time. In the first year and a half that I had like taking like those courses, and I wasn't very organized. I didn't have a routine. I was just like, doing like try to like just doing things. I was like at home all the time, drinking coffee like left and right. Um, it was very tough time. But then I was like, okay, it doesn't have to be like this. I can plan my time so much better. And then so instead of just like saying like how a week goes for me, I would say how a day goes for me. I wake up like 7, 8 morning. I go to a cafe or a library. I chat with a barista there, like having some fun, like chit chatting with people. And beside that, I work. I do my research. I study. And I would be like done at like 6 p.m. I go home, work out, and then I spend some time with my friends. So I think I'm having a good life, I guess. So it all depends on you, like how you manage to like, because like doing a PhD is not very different from having a job, right? If you're having a job, you still have things to do, you still have to learn, you still have to be updated if you want to have a good job, right? So I think it's not that bad that most people think, if you are able to have a routine and plan your time properly. Uh, I still have times that I oversleep or like sometimes hangover from the last night. I don't know. I still have like bad days, but overall, I would say I can plan my time. My weeks are going kind of good, like just like a 9 to 5 person.
That's good. So I was going to go ahead and mention if I have more questions sort of planned, but if someone wants to ask things in the chat, please do, and I can start to work those in to the conversation. So if they have questions that you want to ask Golbarg and Christen, please please go ahead.
How many people do we have here? Oh,
Um,
nine.
yeah,
9. Yeah.
we have a few. We've had some people that have been bouncing in and out, so I'm not sure if everyone has good connection. Um, so what have you found, Golbarg? I'll start with you. So what skills, whether it's research, writing, coding, networking, have mattered most for you since you started your doctoral program?
Mm, that's a really good question. Um, I think communication is the key. Um,
Yeah.
because you can build all of those skills like throughout the PhD program. If you have problem, I don't know, with coding, you can take like online courses. You can do like, I don't know, everything. And if you don't know something, you can just go learn it. But communicating like with your advisor, with other professors, asking questions when you have a problem, I think that is a key skill that I developed, and it really helped me during this time.
So this is good. I see this in a lot of students, and I wish I knew better how to like encourage them to improve communication. How do you think you have done this, or what have you done to
Okay,
try to improve your communication?
so I think most people who are like most of the student, I was a shy person. I had somehow social anxiety. It was difficult for me to just go talk to people. And at some point I was like, what are you afraid of? Like being judged? People laugh at you, think your question is stupid. Doesn't matter. Like what do you have to lose? And
Mhm.
then I was like, okay, if even I get a bad response, it's okay. I don't know this. I have to ask. Like I have no other option, right? I just pushed myself. I was like, doesn't matter how difficult it is, just go communicate. Like, mm, ask your questions, tell what exactly you are doing. Don't just tell them the results. Maybe your result is not good, but you have to tell like what exactly you've done to get all of these results. Express yourself and whatever. And I had to push myself. Like I had to. It can be sometimes, you know, difficult, but I was like, what would be the worst outcome of this? Like people judging me, I don't care about. But like, what do I have to lose, right? I don't know.
Yeah, you have to learn to
And
think sometime. Yeah,
and actually, the result was pretty good. People always nice. People always willing to help you because they have been in this situation and they are very understanding. Actually, when you ask questions and when you tell them you are doing, um, they can trust you even more, and they are being more encouraging, and you know everything goes so much better. So just don't get scared. It is difficult, but just do it. Like the worst outcome wouldn't be that scary. People always nice, professors understanding. Um, yeah, it's not that scary at all.
yeah, that's good. Thank you, Golbarg. So I have a question that's come in, but let me ask the same thing to Kristen before I move to that.
Mhm.
So, Kristen, for you, you're with us? Okay. So, what skills, whether it be research, writing, coding, networking, Golbarg said communication, has mattered the most in your PhD or once you started your doctoral study?
Yeah, that's a great question. Kind of piggybacking on what Goldberg said, and and going and leading into what you said, I'd say networking is the most important thing. Um, and that networking doesn't mean you have to know everybody and anybody, right? It means you keep in touch with my professors, at ODU, my professors at Hampton, right? And getting to know my professors here, right? It doesn't mean, like I said, like I said, everybody has to know your name, right? And it doesn't mean that you're, renowned throughout the department. It means that you have a solid foundation of people that you can like talk to, and like when things get difficult, you can be honest with. Um, my professor here at Howard, he's probably my advisor here. Yeah, he's probably not just my advisor, but a really good friend. Um, and there I have had people that say that's weird. Your advisor, your friend, that's weird. But it's true, right? We've I have called him the night before the Nintendo Switch 2 released. I said, "Hey, you got to get down here if you want a Nintendo Switch 2 for your kid. They have a lot in stock right now. They're gonna run out if you don't get down here quick, right?" And so I got his son a Nintendo Switch 2, right? I've definitely, have called my professor, at odd hours, right? Complaining about stuff or like just, overthinking stuff. And he's been there to tell me it'd be like that sometimes and it's going to be okay, right? And so the ability to network and uh, is a skill that you should really learn here at ODU because these professors are really, really approachable, right? They are busy, but they are never too busy for you. Um, and so I'd really develop that network here and 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 like I said, use it as a foundation for you because grad school will get tough. You might feel like you're the only one who's gone through this, or like this is the hardest thing you've ever had to do, and it likely will be, right? But a good person to talk to might be professors here at ODU, might be professors at your current program who are there to tell you, it's going to be okay. I failed 2 comps. My professor said, hey, uh, just make sure you study next time. And I did, and I passed, right? So having that network is really important, in my opinion.
The diploma says PhD on
Yeah,
it.
that'll tell you,
Regardless, it doesn't.
regardless of how long it took
If you
you,
have to retake a comp.
right? Right.
Um, and so I'll move. So this is one of the questions that came in. I'll frame it a little differently for Christen since he's a domestic student. And so what is the most valuable piece of advice that you would give to a student who is thinking about doctoral study?
Um, that's a great question. The most valuable piece of advice I would give is just it's okay if you don't know. It's okay if you don't know everything, right? And the PhD program is very much not only learning about your field, but learning a continuation of learning about who you are as a student and even as a person, right? How do you do when the going gets tough, right? I guarantee you, Walker can tell you this, Cardazzi can tell you this, McNabb can definitely tell you this. A PhD program will beat you down, right? You will end up with bruises, but it's about how you get up, right? That tells you about who you are as a person. And the best piece of advice I can say is don't be afraid of the bruises and scars that'll come along the way. Um, Embrace it and just enjoy your time in the program. Enjoy being a student, but also have a lot of fun because you you have the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, my simple 3 words. It's a contraction, so 4 words. The, do not give up.
Do not give up.
Yeah.
I thought multiple times about it and never did.
I think
That
about it every day, but again,
that's
it's
what
like
that's
house
what
fallacy.
leads to finishing the degree. It's the same as anything else. Do not
Right.
give up. And
Mhm.
so for you, Goldberg, let me frame it a little bit differently. So
Mhm.
for an international student
Mhm.
who wants to come and study a PhD in the United States, what do you think? Is that a different piece of advice? Does it matter? Or is just what's the most valuable piece of advice you have?
What I'm going to say is very similar to like what Christian said. So this path has so many ups and downs. Don't get too proud of yourself in the highs and don't get so disappointed of yourself in the lows. I think that's my advice. Just be consistent and do your job. That's it. And care about the mental health.
Yeah. Um, so well, there's a couple questions. Both of these came in. I'm trying to think about how to frame it the best way. And so in writing your applications, right? So when
Hmm.
you're applying to Baruch, to the other places, Golbarg,
Hmm.
how do you think you can signal that you're willing to put in the hard work? So like part of most applications is a statement of purpose.
Yeah.
And somewhere in there, PhDs they're difficult. And so is there a way to signal like I am ready, I can do this?
So I think uh when I was writing my SOP, so for international students can find so many examples of like SOPs, like if they search for it.
Hmm.
Um, but I was like trying to write something like whatever I find, but then I was like, okay, this is so unnatural. It's so obvious that I'm just like it's this is not for me. And then I decided to like just write my own story, like what happened in my life, why I'm doing this. And basically, like I just told a true story of like myself, why I'm taking like this path, and I think that works. Um, a story that kind of, yeah, just a story of yourself. And I think all international students have their own like specific, unique stories that can be very, um, like people read it and I think international students have inspiring stories because like the path they take to like get here and like do a PhD is for most of them is a difficult path. For me, it was a very difficult path. So if you just write whatever you're doing and be truthful about yourself, just be yourself in your SLP. That's it. That's my advice.
Yeah. Well, I like that, Golbarg. I'm probably going to do another event like this, but just about statement of purpose. I was thinking about that the last couple of weeks. I talked to someone,
Hmm.
and so Christen, how about you? Um, if do you think that there is a way to signal, like in your application, that you're ready, you're willing to put in the work to complete a doctoral program?
Yeah, that's a great question. I did a little bit of thinking, and it's interesting that you asked that. Um, I tell I'm a TA for honors program here, the honors program here at Howard. So TA to the associate dean. And so a lot of these students are very dissimilar from myself, right? I call them, um, not to be derogatory, but I call them tryhards, right? This is very different from me, who was on probation out of the 10 semesters I spent at Hampton. I spent 5 years there. Um, about half of them I spent on probation, right? So I was not a good student at all in the slightest. I got kicked out of Hampton and had to reapply because my grades were just that bad. Um, I say that to say I signal to them that it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish, right? And I think that my willingness to say, hey, not only did I, start off poorly and then end up doing much better throughout, right? Not only is that indicator that I'm ready and I'm serious, but I also went to a master's program, fell in love with it even more, right? I love economics so much that I did it a second time, right? And that's how I was able to tell them. And it's the indicator that in my SOP that I was ready to do the hard work, that I did it so much that I put myself through hell not once but twice, right? And I'm ready to do it a third time, if it means I get to contribute to my field, right? For all of you guys will have different reasons for going in. Um, and that's what makes you you. And so that's important. Tell them that. Tell them what makes you you, right? What makes Christian different from Walker, right? His story is different from mine, right? And so that story is really what'll set you apart, right? At the end of the day. A lot of it is unfortunately, a lot of it can come down to luck, right? But a lot of it can also come down to what's in your control and how you present yourself as you talk about your interest and talk about why you're doing this, right? All of you guys will have a different why. It's just really, really, really important that you properly convey why you're doing this because no one wants to admit somebody who says, "Oh, I'm just doing it because, I thought it'd be kind of cool." No, I mean, it is kind of cool, but have a
Yeah,
serious why. Think
it's a
about
lot
it.
of work
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So another question that came in, I'll start with you, Christian or Kristen. S- so what do you think your biggest challenge was during the application phase, and why?
Um, the biggest challenge was It was some of the no's, you know. I had schools, it was it was the no's. As weird as that sounds, the application phase is really, in my opinion, an exciting time, right? Because you start to see your dreams come to, you start to see the light at the end of the tunnel as you're like, I don't have to deal with Walker's labor class anymore. I don't have to do, I'm almost done with this paper that I had to write that took me forever to do, right? And you start to see the light at the end of the tunnel, right? And you finally get to say, to signal to universities that I'm ready. But it's a great question. The hardest part of the application process, honestly, wasn't the applications themselves. I have to be honest, because applications themselves are writing, and that's what Walker teaches us. He teaches us how to properly convey thoughts. It wasn't. I mean, I didn't have to take GREs, but it wasn't the standardized test. It really was the the rejections, and I think that, I mean, that's obviously part of life. It's greater than school. That's just life, right? But it's okay. I think Golbarg, she got into her dream school, and that's perfect. And I didn't get into mine, ODU, but it worked out in the end, and I am glad I'm here now, right? So I'll say, as long as you prepare yourself for the no's and you realize that wherever you end up is the place for you, right? That that is something to take to heart, and something that is 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 essential to character growth, if you will.
Yeah, I like that. Good response, Kristen. And so go Barg with you. Like, what did you think your biggest challenge was in the application phase, and why?
Preparing all the documents. I mean, like this is it's like it's a job that you're doing this because you have to, but there's a lot to do, and I hate doing paperwork. It's like paperwork. It's like paperwork, but you have to do it. I don't know. It's just so boring. That was the problem for me.
It's part of life.
And one other challenge I had was like, oh my God, applications are so expensive.
Yes. Please, those of you who are planning on applying, you should
Yeah,
see.
don't waste your money on the places that you're sure that you're not getting admission. But I mean, like, don't lower your expectations though. Like, this is not good what I said. Um, but yeah, the applications are very expensive, mostly
That's
for business schools.
funny that you mentioned that, because I actually just my professor, I was on a meeting with him this morning, and he says, "Oh, blah blah blah. I have a lot of, people emailing me about waiving the application fee." And he's talking about, for because it's application season right now. It's
Yes.
like, what? We could have emailed about that. We could have emailed to have a
Yeah,
waive
I did.
application.
I every single university I wanted to apply, I emailed them. Oh, I'm from Iran. I don't have money. Please help me
I
waive
did.
the application for me.
Yeah, and I
So,
didn't know you could do that. And I told my professor, I want my $100 back. That's what I told him.
yeah, so I get this question a lot, and I don't really have the money, and I don't really know if I can do it. I, did it work, Goldberg? Did you get application fees waived some places?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I assumed it must be working some schools, but
Some no, not it's some schools yes, some schools no.
some schools no. Huh?
And there are some so at some schools they have some application fee waiver application.
That is something. More
Yeah.
paperwork for you, Goldberg.
Yeah. So you have to like put what is your um like annual salary and whatever, like what your family doing. And yeah, they take a look at that, and if you're good, they waive the application for you. Uh, yeah, but most of schools don't waive the applications.
Okay. But yeah, that it may not hurt to ask is I think the moral of that story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I asked for
sometimes
my
they waive.
$100 back and he told me no, so
You were not, it was not available. Yeah.
yeah.
So, a couple of, so from my side, how about it? Just a couple more questions, and then I'll see if anyone in the group sort of has anything else. Uh, so Golbarg, do you have any advice on how to stay motivated?
How to stay motivated? Uh, Motivation is just a state of mind, like it's coming from dopamine. Uh, so there is no way to like, control your dopamine level. It's something that your brain managed to like have or not have. Um, the point is motivation is nothing. You just have to have the routine and like be, um, you know, just do your job. It's your job. Do it. Don't overthink it. Just do your job. It's boring. You don't like it. It's stressful. Go do it.
Yeah. It's sometimes some there are moments of victory, but there
Yeah,
are moments of defeat as well. You just got
yeah. Moments of defeat are so much more. So
to, it's true. I mean,
you just have to be responsible about your life. This is your life. Just be responsible. You're an adult.
yeah. Uh, Kristen, how do you stay motivated? Any advice on staying motivated?
Yeah. As I told you, I have a lot of free time now. I mean, I have to use it wisely, but I do. I had s- picked up skateboarding when coming back into the program, right? And so the other day, I had probably like a couple months ago, I was able to land my first kickflip, right? Which is kind of difficult to do. It's a hard trick to learn. I like skateboarding because it's tangential to it's tangential to being a graduate student, right? There is a lot of pain involved, tears even, and sometimes blood, right? But you have to I think for me, one of the things that helped me with, skateboarding and some things that I've taken away from skateboarding into, grad school is when I first started, I used to skate by myself, right? I used to be really afraid of like, what other people thought, like, oh, I like I can barely ollie, I can barely do the basic level stuff, right? But you realize when you go to skate parks that being around other skaters, being around people that are not as good as you, people that are better than you, people that are on the same level, right? That you learn a lot quicker and that motivates you like, oh, like I
Yeah.
saw him do that. I can do it, right? Or he can teach me how to do it, right? And so yeah, am I done with coursework? Sure, right? But am I still on campus? Yes, because it's that spillover effect. It's that me seeing where my classmates are at, seeing what my classmates are doing, right? Learning from them learning from me telling them about stuff, right? That motivates me, right? It's a lot like skateboarding in that regard, and where I want to go see my friends, right? I want to go see my friends at the skate park. They're going to motivate me to go ahead and try something I haven't done or, keep grinding that one trick, right? And same thing going to campus. I'm going to go see my professor or I'm going to go see my classmates, and they're going to motivate me to keep grinding that problem, keep grinding this data set, right? Because not motivation doesn't always have to come from yourself, right? It can come from those around you. There have been times where I've talked to Walker, I'm like, Walker, I realistically can't eke out any more anymore out of this topic. I'm
Like,
burnt
you
out.
do.
And he sat and said, I know it's hard, but that's research. And I really think you have more in the tank, right? And so, as I said, motivation doesn't always have to come from within. It can come from those around you who inspire you, right? So, yeah, that's all I'll say.
That,
That was a very inspiring, you know. I'm impressed. Wow.
Right? Just a lot of life, just a lot of life. That's it.
Yeah. And the point is the point that you're not alone. There are a lot of people that just handled this situation that
Hmm,
you're in. Like that's a very key thing that you have to like keep in mind, I guess.
I think both very good answers. At some point in graduate school, I will be very quick. I started to tell myself it rhymes, so it's like a mantra. Like if it is going to be, it is up to me. Like like if something was going to happen, it was my responsibility to make sure it was going to be done. Like I was
Mm-hmm.
the one that if I didn't finish my dissertation, it was my fault. So I just got up and I worked on whatever needed to be done.
Mm-hmm.
And it was and eventually it becomes a habit. It's like what Golbarg was talking about. You get a routine and then it just becomes what you do. But it was tough. It was tough to get there for me.
Yeah.
Um, and so last question on my part. And so if you had to sum up the PhD process so far in one sentence or a paragraph or something kind of short, what do you think that it would be?
Okay, go first. Um, I don't know. Can we say I don't know? Because it's
I mean, there's so many facets to what go on because you've got like a social aspect with other graduate students. You're basically becoming the professors. You're trying to work to become the professors that you're taking classes with. It is a weird dynamic or an interesting dynamic.
yeah. Mm, so so you're just saying like summarize how PhD is?
Yeah. So like
It
how would you describe since you started the program? Like
so
more work than I expected or better than I anticipated. I don't know.
it comes to your life like a thunder, but you can manage it, although it's impossible to like control the weather. Um, it is controllable. Um, it's it can be a nightmare, but at the same time, you can have very good days in your PhD. There are times that you just learn to be just learn yourself better. I think in this path, you just can learn like what you're capable of, and how strong you can be like in difficult situations. It's an interesting path, I guess, because it kind of helped me to know myself better and do interesting things. So I think it's worth it to. I think if I get back in time, I would do the same thing again. There are some times um, when I had difficult assignments or I the nights before the exams, I was like, why did I do this? I just want to quit. After this exam, I'm gonna be done with PhD. Like I'm just gonna master out and yes, I'm just gonna find a job after that. But then I was done with the exam. I was like, oh no. I was like, I was just overreacting to this. So sometimes it's gonna be so difficult, but at the same time, when you see how easily you manage the difficulties, you get so proud of yourself and you just, yeah, I should keep doing this. And you just see people near you doing this, like you, um, it's a difficult path, but uh, mostly at the beginning, but eventually you learn more about yourself and you learn more about how to do it. So, oh my God, this was a really stupid answer.
No, this is good, Golbarg. I think this is
No, that's
good.
good.
I
I
don't know. It is very
actually
difficult,
agree
but
with
if
a large part of what you said.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
difficult. That's true. You're right about that. So no, it's a good answer.
yeah,
uh yeah,
yeah.
you're gonna you eventually you're gonna do it. If you started, there are times that you want to give up, but eventually you're gonna do it, and it's worth it because you learn a lot. Not only about like, I'm not only talking about the, you know, the knowledge and like the courses and like doing research. It's also about like how it can help you to grow your personality. Like, you know, that's a very interesting part of PhD, like how it helps you to grow yourself.
I absolutely agree about that. There's a lot of self-reflection that generally comes with it. Um,
Mm-hmm,
it helped me a lot personally with self-confidence. That I
mm-hmm,
can say that.
mm-hmm.
Um, what do you think, Kristen? How about you? If you had to sum up your PhD journey in a
That's a,
sentence or a paragraph?
no, that's a good question. I'd say the biggest, uh, the overarching word in my experience so far is strain. It will put strain on all aspects of your life, on all your, whether it be your professional relationships, your friendships, and your romantic relationships. It's going to put strain on everything. And in some instances, that strain may, breaks, said relationship. That strain may break you at times, right? Um, but at the same time, it also brings opportunity, as the strain, of the program, failing my comps, right? That that was stressful, and I'm sitting in here, to talking to you now, but behind all of that, I've had to sit in my professor's office hours quite literally, every day for weeks, right? But that strain also brought us closer together, right? As he saw me struggle, as he saw me try, right? So it can break you, it can break your relationships, but it can also build you and build new ones, right? And so, yeah, would I rather be back in Norfolk, eating bagels with Matt and trying out
Oh my God.
his amazing restaurant recommendations, right? Of course, I would love to try out Matt's amazing restaurant recommendations, right? Or running a 5K with Nathan, right? Of course, I'd rather be doing that, right? But at the end of the day, um, it's an innately selfish endeavor, right? That will put stress on a lot of aspects of your life. Um, but I don't have to tell you, and Walker doesn't have to tell you that you'll be better for it, right? Stress and pressure creates diamonds. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we're getting a little closer to time. I think those are great answers. I'll just ask, give a little more of a moment. Do you have any parting thoughts, Kristen?
No, I'd say if you guys, are curious about, curious about the program here at Howard, I'd love to talk to you. I tried it as I unsuccessfully, as soon as I found out that I wouldn't be back at ODU, I unsuccessfully tried to recruit my friends Golbarg and Aliou to come to Howard. Golbarg got
Oh,
in, so did Aliou, and so Golbarg
hey,
should be sitting
Christian,
here next
I gotta go to like DC in the winter break.
You
Let me
got
know if
to
we're
come.
down to hang
You
out.
have to come. She could have been sitting here right next to me, and we could have been cackling it up, as we both passed our comps or whatever have you. But
Oh my God.
all jokes aside, if you guys are curious about the program here at Howard, feel free to reach out to me. Like your professors are generally probably a better resource, than I could be about a lot of other things, grad school related. But I will do my best to answer any inquiries you guys might have if you reach out to me. And I'm sure Walker is more than happy to share my email.
Yeah. As long as you're okay with it,
Yeah,
Chris.
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. I can certainly
It's
ask.
on Howard's
You can
graduate
always
student
email me.
website.
People here would know
No,
how to get in touch with me.
no, it's on Howard graduate student website. So
You're not
it's out
you're
there
not a
somewhere.
secret. Yeah,
Not a-
yeah. So Golbarg, any parting thoughts from you as
Yeah, yeah, if you have any questions, want to chat about like how um you can apply for actually I'm not in an econ program, but I have like a lot of friends from the econ program. So if you have any questions about the uh it's not at Baruch, it's at Graduate Center, the econ program. So if you have questions, I can connect you with people like faculties or like PhD students in econ. So don't hesitate to ask questions. Yeah, and have fun. Have a good weekend.
cool? Thank you. Um, thank you. I have been excited to get to visit with both Kristen and Golbarg for a while. I was not disappointed. This was fun today. I appreciate both of you taking time out of a busy schedule as PhD students
Oh,
to
of course.
visit. Maybe we could come back for like a plus 1 year kind of check in and see how things
Mhm.
are going or that
I'll
sort
do
of
like 2016 Obama. You'll see me age rapidly. I'll have
Yeah, I
gray
see you.
hairs
Like,
and
look at the
wrinkles
beard and
across my
everything.
face. Uh,
thing.
the age will definitely set in from all the stress, you know. So yeah, yeah.
That's
Take
good.
it easy,
But
Christian. Take it easy, man.
I will. I'll
It's
try.
just a PSG.
It's good.
Like
Sunk
that.
cost fallacy.
That's a great notion to end on. Yeah, so thanks to everybody for coming. Have a great weekend. I'll echo Goldberg's sentiments. And yeah, yeah,
Thank
it
you.
was a good time. I hope to hear from everyone soon and all of those in internet land who may watch this later.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
And so,
guys have a great one.
uh,
yeah, yeah.